Welcome back to Movie Monday. If you're new here, Movie Monday is a bit of a different take on movie reviews. Typically, you talk about movie reviews on exactly what happened, how did you like it, what was good, what was bad, and we'll touch base a little bit on that, but really I want to talk about the firearms used in the movie, which makes sense for the channel. It's something that I know a lot about, I'm passionate about, and movies are also one of those things that I'm passionate about. So combining those two hobbies, you get Movie Guns Review. With that said, this is not gonna be a spoiler review. I just saw the movie, it literally just came out this weekend, so I don't want to spoil it for you. I'll give you a little synopsis and we'll talk about some of the guns in this movie and some of the interesting things they've done, because they actually have some unique outer space alien type takes on a few guns, which is kind of interesting. So let's dive in, because today's movie review is on Mickey 17.
On Earth, nothing was working out, and I wanted to get the hell out of there.
You're applying to be an expendable?
That's right, this movie just came out. Here's Robert Pattinson, Naomi Ackie, Stephen Ewan, and Mark Ruffalo, but he's not the Hulk this time. Kind of upsetting, I know, it's fine.
I'm always angry.
So what is Mickey 17? What's it about? It's actually based on a novel called Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. The main character, Mickey Barnes, is a disposable employee who is 3D printed and is sent on a human expedition to colonize the ice world, Niflheim, which I was like, Niflheim? Okay, Niflheim. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated through a essential 3D printer, which is kind of interesting to see, with most of its memories intact. So he kind of just keeps going until you hit Mickey 17, like the movie says, right? Mark Ruffalo is the failed politician in this movie. You see it in the trailer, and you'll see clips throughout this about the trailer a little bit. He's a failed politician leading this expedition as like the political leader, and he tries to think of himself as a war leader general, right? And they get into all sorts of trouble and all sorts of stuff on the ship. It's honestly, it's a fun ride for what it is. It's a spring release for a movie, so not expecting too much from a blockbuster standpoint, but for this to come out and just kind of come out of nowhere, it's really just a fun intergalactic movie with some unique things in it, including the firearms. If you're interested in this particular shirt that I'm wearing, this is called the Warden. Super comfy, nice and cool feeling material for like those warmer months. And this is actually a shirt from Camerado. My buddy Sean over at We Like Shooting has this company called Camerado, and of course based in Colorado, where he's from, right? And there's a bunch of different camo patterns, some unique ones, some more like subtle ones as well. So if you want to have everyday kind of wearing, you can. You have buttoned up shirts, jackets, hoodies, you name it. Really cool stuff over there. Link will be down below. Go support him. USA company, gotta love it. I think code GEAR know how saves you some scratch at checkout. So I mentioned Mark Ruffalo plays the failed politician, the eccentric leader of this group, right? And you'll kind of see throughout the movie how things go down and his leadership style, and it just kind of filmed in a fun way. In fact, Mickey is essentially kind of narrating a lot of the movie throughout as all the characters are talking and interacting and the story's playing out. He narrates a lot of it, and you see that in the trailer. He's just talking like, oh, here I am, oh, dead again, this guy's a nut job, you know, talking about that kind of stuff. So it's pretty fun. But what does a bad guy have? Typically, right, a big, scary revolver. And that's what this guy has. Mark's character has a revolver in several scenes, and it is actually a nice stainless steel, like all polished up. It looks like Smith & Wesson Model 29, probably chambered in .44 Magnum. I don't have something of this size. I have a couple of smaller .38 specials that I shoot quite a bit, but you know, seeing a lot of larger revolvers come back into the limelight for various movies, even in outer space, right? I probably should get a large frame revolver, because I think that'd be good for some of these reviews. Of course, the bad guy has the big scary revolver, right? Well, the rifle of choice for all the security forces, because of course there's a security force that goes along with them. They're not really, didn't seem to be military or anything like that, but they're just a security force. In fact, they give a lot of guns to a lot of agents, they call it, and it's actually a Tavor. So few scenes you actually see the Tavor, which is a 5.56 made by IWI, and it appears to be the X95. So that's a bullpup. I don't have one. I need to get one, because this is one of those bullpups that a lot of people talk about. He seems to be really well renowned reliable, accurate, all that good stuff. I think there's some older versions of it as well, and they've seemed to hold up over time, and they have a bunch of different colors and options and a lot of different accessories. The actually aftermarket for Tavors are definitely picking up over the years. So really cool to kind of see that in a movie. It is more of a futuristic type of bullpup design. So with that, I think it kind of fits the outer space, going over to try to civilize and conquer various planets and find a new home. So it kind of makes sense to have the Tavor in there. Now, if you're looking for a John Wick type of movie, this is not it. It's not a very tactical movie. It's essentially just security forces using rifles and handguns. We'll talk about the handguns here in a second, which are pretty unique, built specifically for this movie, it looks like. But with the Tavor being there, you're not going to see a bunch of magazine swaps. Even a lot of the characters over, they have like one mag in the gun, right? And they're just running around with it, you know, taking out aliens, you know, using them up to hold up different people. Things like that you see kind of like on the drama behind a lot of the outer space adventures. So it's not going to be a bunch of mag swaps, not going to be a bunch of full kit or anything like that. But there is some kind of interesting kit when it comes to what they wear when they go out on these planets for expeditions and things like that. So that's kind of cool to see. But yeah, definitely not a bunch of mag swaps and tactical use of these weapons. Now, what handgun survives the far reaches of outer space to slay the alien race and conquer the universe? The Glock. Just, I don't know, it's kind of funny to kind of see the Glock is just something that's heavily modified typically for a lot of movies, right? And with that, the Glock 17 makes an appearance in a bunch of scenes in this movie. Security forces all use the Glock 17, but not just any old Glock 17. No. This is not an MOS version from what I can tell. These are just standard Glock 17s. Interesting how red dots didn't make it to outer space, but they're super popular now here in the Earth. But either way, threaded barrels with some sort of like A2 looking flash hider on them, some kind of comp device, right? It's all like stainless steel, like very silver looking, right? Like polished. And they have these comps on them, black Glock 17s. Looks like a little laser flashlight combo thing on the bottom, very short. I don't even know what it is. It's very like kind of stubby. They never really use it that much on there, but they have those. And then also an extended little mag, maybe a couple around, a little extension at the bottom, just to make them look a little more scientific. But they dump a bunch of mags into some aliens and things like that, right? As you'd expect from these adventures. And that is what it seems to be the go-to, are these Glock 17s modified for this movie for a type of sci-fi looking vibe. Now I have the Ruger RXM, which is a Glock clone, as well as the Dagger, so the Dagger Compact, which is more Glock 19, and then the Dagger Saber, which is more like a 19X. All shoot really well. I need to just get a Glock, and I think just like a beat up old Glock just to have, or maybe even a Glock 19X, honestly, just to have to kind of show you guys how they run and how modified they can be. I got some threaded barrels and things like that we can mess around with and use those for these videos. But honestly, the RXM, Dagger Saber, that I haven't had any issues with any of those, and the RXM's up for review. I'm just waiting for those longer 19X style larger frames to come out, because it's a modular system. You can swap out the fire control group, which is really cool. So once they come out with a larger grip, or someone else does, I'm gonna go and do a video on that, because I love the RXM. That thing just shoots and shoots well. Last but not least, if you think about it, what's a type of weapon system you see in a lot of scary alien movies? They have some flamethrowers they mocked up here. Essentially, it's like a flamethrower. They took almost like a rifle of some type, maybe like an AR, and they made it so it looks like a flamethrower with little canisters. They even have like some of these reload canisters. You like reload it, but they look kind of just like rifles. They're very long, not your typical looking flamethrower, built probably specifically for this movie. And they have these screw-on canisters, and then they have these flamethrowers that they use. Not very reliable, because I know some of them have some malfunctions. They kind of mess up depending on where they are in this alien planet. But that being said, they're pretty cool. They use them a few times to kind of keep the aliens at bay. And they have an armory on board where they can go and switch out weapon systems, so they can go pick up their Tavors, or pick up their Glocks, or pick up their flamethrower and switch them out. And that's kind of cool to kind of see based on that. But it looks like a build specifically for a sci-fi type adventure for this was this flamethrower system. I don't know how much burn time it has or anything like that, considering some of the modern flamethrowers we have that you can buy. Some of those with the canisters on there you can actually own. I haven't really had a need for one yet, but someday. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That is it for this week's Movie Monday gun review. It's a fun one. Mickey 17. I saw this trailer a couple weeks ago and I was like, oh wow, what is this? And it was just one of those things I was scrolling through and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I watched a little bit about it. Based on a cool novel, it sounds like people seem to enjoy the novel itself. So when that happens, you know, from a sci-fi perspective, you know there's gonna be some fun, unique scenarios in the movie. And that's exactly what this brings. It's very entertaining. I think it's got like an 80-some% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So if that's the case, you're not looking for something real deep, I'll tell you that right now, but it's entertaining, right? So I would recommend it. A lot of fun. The gunplay is pretty fun, and just kind of seeing the characters intertwine and having like the whole 3D printed humans and just talking about that and having the narration of Mickey overall throughout the movie was just interesting to see, give his take on people. It's just fun to kind of hear the commentary behind it. So that was a good ride. Recommend it. If not, just wait for streaming. You know how it is, right? So thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, train hard. You never know what's coming. Take care of the ones you love. Those are the ones that matter, and we'll see you on the next Movie Monday.